you've been diagnosed with aplastic anemia, which is a very rare blood disorder where you're not forming enough red blood cells. Think of being a college age student where you got Facebook at the time that was really popular, but social media where all your friends are posting about what they're doing and you're in a hospital and this is
Right.
where your life is. I got that drug for 12 hours a day for 5 days. And they make you get out and walk. Every day they're like, all right, Brandi, it's time for your walk. I worked in HR for 8 years and I loved it. I still love HR to this day. I just knew that was not something I could do long term, just having the stress and a lot on my plate. I took a risk and I took a jump and took a back seat to that. And now I work at a company where I have more flexibility, less stress on me. And it's really been great for my health. Yeah.
Having a high pressure job doesn't make that any better.
That's what I've learned along the way. Yeah, and I'm thankful I did. It was a pay
Yeah.
cut, don't get me wrong. It's not like it was blissful all around.
Right. That's the price we pay when you have a
It
high
is.
pressure job. There's a financial reward for it.
Yeah, it's true.
But then you have to decide, like you did, is the financial reward worth
Yes.
how I'm feeling physically and mentally? And if it's too much, then you
Yeah,
make those changes. And I
yes.
think we adjust to it.
Yeah. I've heard other people say have those same questions because at one point I felt alone asking myself that. I'm questioning my career. This is what I've been working towards. Like I'm moving up and getting more experience, better job opportunities, but I felt weird questioning myself of, is this what I want? Is this truly what I want? And for a minute, I felt alone in questioning myself. Everybody's climbing the ladder. This is what I've always thought and dreamt to do in life is to keep
Mhm.
climbing the ladder. I've always tried to excel at things. I was the first Black Miss UNA at my university. I'm sitting back like, how could I question this? This is what I've always done. Hearing other people's stories, really on social media, of them questioning the same thing helped me see I'm not alone in this.
Mm.
This is something I feel like at one time or another, everybody or most people have questioned. So that helped a lot too.
Mhm.
Yeah. I did a TEDx talk years ago. That process is insane. We had a 6-month process. So they were really detailed of making sure whoever they selected for that year would commit to the process. I'm glad that it was that type of process. I had a one-on-one writer that helped me. I wrote it, but they helped edit it with me and make sure
Ooh.
it sounded great and it sounded like a TED talk. They really had a lot of support for us. We had mandatory meetings we had to go to. Then closer to time, we had to do mock TEDx talks. So we would stand in front of each other. They really push you. So by the
Yeah.
time you're on stage, it's normal to you. Yeah. I'm glad it was that type of process instead of just putting you on stage and then you have stage fright. If you do the process, it works.
You're an overachiever. Miss U University of Northern
North
Alabama. And you were in a sorority, you had
Carolina.
this dream for acting. Those are all high achieving things. And it's impressive that you accomplished all those things. Plus the TED Talk,
Yeah.
you've been able to do some of that already. It's not like you missed the boat on any of that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
sometimes my mom has to remind me of that too. She's like, Brandi, at your age, and she's like, you've accomplished a lot, right? Like you've done a lot. And I love when she does that because I'm like, you're right. There's sometimes where I
Yeah.
need to take a back seat, really see what I've done and be thankful for those things instead of just keep trying to go and go. Health
So
will do that to you too. It'll make you sit down too.
you were a freshman in college. Walk us through what life looked like for you.
Yeah, freshman year, I picked University of North Alabama because it was a smaller campus, but it wasn't too small where I could get involved and people would know me by name. Like I loved that atmosphere. And so freshman year, I was a lionette, so I was on dance line and So we went the summer before actually starting that first year of college. So I had already met a lot of people and got some girlfriends, and it was really fun to start that freshman year off with some friends because I was the only one from my graduating class to go to UNA. So that was
Mm.
scary in itself. So I was thankful to go in and know some people and have some friends. I was a lionette, so I was always dancing and going to band practice a lot. It was a busy freshman year, but I loved my freshman year as in I got to figure out who I was, gain that independence. Like my parents and my sister, they always laugh at me and tell this story of when they drove off after we got my dorm ready and literally me watching the car drive away, like, I started sobbing. And up
Oh.
until then, like, that summer, I was like, "Oh, I'm good, like, I'll be fine." And it hit me of, "Oh, wow, I'm on my own. I've got to wake myself up every morning. I've got to figure out everything. I've got to organize everything myself." And just having that realization was like, "Okay, I get to have my own independence and maneuver that." So I loved freshman year for that. I went to the cafeteria, ate every dime I could, that type of life, the calf life for sure. And just meeting people, that was freshman year.
Yeah.
I really loved all the people that I got to meet and just gain that independence. Yeah, it was a good year. It was 2 weeks into my sophomore year when I was having all the symptoms, nosebleeds, really heavy menstrual cycle, like just not normal things. I had an 8 o'clock class and I woke up to get ready for it and literally just trying to sit up out of the bed. My heart was pounding. Like you could see the pulse in my vein. I just knew something was wrong. I didn't know what
Mm.
it was. And that was really what snowballed the whole thing. Missed classes, went to the infirmary. They tried to draw blood from me. I was severely dehydrated. They couldn't draw any blood from me. And they were like, you have to go to the ER. So I went to the ER that day, and my friend actually drove me there because they didn't want me to drive. And we walked into the ER laughing and talking. We went up to the nurse's station. She said, "Wait, who's the patient?" And I was like, "It's me." And she was like, "There is no way. There's no way. Like, we've been hearing what's been going on with you." And I was like, "I promise you, it's me." And so they sent me back, and the doctor would stick out your tongue, and it was pale white. I had
Mm.
literally the amount of blood in my body is what I was told was enough to be a vegetable. So to be able to walk and talk and walk into that ER that night was just honestly, it was wild. And all I know was throwing papers and rushed and had to sign all this stuff saying I'm getting 2 bags of blood, a bag of platelets, and that was really what snowballed it of just trying to figure out first what is going on with me. And that was
So
when
is your blood level low?
yeah, they were all low. Red blood count was low, white blood count, platelets, everything was almost bottomed out low.
Wow.
Yeah.
No wonder why you weren't feeling so great. Was it at that moment they knew what was wrong, or did they have to run a bunch of tests?
Yes. So they ran a bunch of tests, but they still couldn't figure out what was wrong. All they kept saying is, "We know something's wrong with her, but we don't know what it is." They ended up giving me B12 shots for 3
Okay.
days. Like, maybe let's just start with something minor, and they did nothing for me. Yeah.
Where was the shift in your care in
Mm.
order for somebody to say, here's what we've learned?
Yeah. I was referred to about 3 doctors, and before that, every doctor did a bone marrow biopsy on me, and that was showing the amount of marrow that was in my body.
Okay.
And every time they did one, the doctor every time was like, "There is something wrong with her. I don't know what it is." And it wasn't until actually my last piece of hope was actually going to Children's Hospital. And I
Mm.
was 19, like a 19-year-old at a children's hospital, like, what? I mean, it's right there, it's that gray area. And 3 months before I got there, a doctor who specializes in blood disorders moved and was the doctor there, and she is who diagnosed me. So that was where the shift was of going there. She did a bone marrow biopsy, she did all the tests, and that was when she said, "You've been diagnosed with aplastic anemia," which is a very rare blood disorder where you're not forming enough red blood cells, essentially.
Mm. Does that fall into the cancer world?
It's totally separate, but what is so shocking about it is that you're treated similar to cancer patients. There's
Okay.
types of chemotherapy, immunosuppressive drugs for you. I was taking chemo pills by mouth orally.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's treated like a cancer, but it's separate from cancer.
It sounds like you went through some kind of treatment.
Yeah, they found out what was wrong with me. The type of treatment I had was a chemo treatment they call immunosuppressive drug, where I'm actually in the hospital for 7 days. And every day for 5 of those days, there's this large bag and it just looks like liquid and it drops very slowly. So you're like, time is going by this slowly for me in my life right now. And think of being a college age student where you got Facebook at the time that was really popular, but social media where all your friends are posting about what they're doing and you're in a hospital and this is
Right.
where your life is. I got that drug for 12 hours a day for 5 days and
Sitting there for 12 hours,
every day.
hooked up to an IV.
Yeah.
Like you're really moving around.
No, and they make you get out and walk. Every day they're like, "All right, Brandy, it's time for your walk." Like you've got to at least walk around on your floor and do I think it was like 12 laps or something like that, at least to get you up and going. There are reactions you can have to the medicine, of course. Yeah.
Was it good for you to be sitting for 12 hours, meaning I'm so tired, this feels great. I would rather be sitting here than doing something, or did you get antsy?
Ooh, that's a good question. I had a little bit of both. In the beginning, I was down and out, and
Yeah.
I was like, "I've got to get my mind mentally together." So I had times where I was down, but most of the time I was trying to stay mentally somewhere positive where knowing, okay, I'm getting the treatment I need. I know what I finally have now because that took forever. Let's just see what the road takes. And so I had coloring books, and that's one way that helped me. So just coloring, I mentally escaped from everything. And there's like this picture of me coloring, and my mom took one day because that was my mental escape at the time. It was very
Yeah.
therapeutic, and I like the creativeness. After getting the treatment for 5 days, you stay for a day or two after just to make sure you don't have any reactions. After going home, I was on oral medication from sophomore year up until beginning junior year. I was on medical leave from school. So that entire year was me getting my life back together health wise. And I was on 30 pills a day
Wow.
for almost 8 months. 30 pills a day. And whoo, talk about having to take that much medicine every day because you take one pill, there are side effects from that pill.
Those are a lot of different meds.
Yeah, I was on 30 pills a day because some of the medicine I was on could cause side effects. And okay, so we're going to give you a pill for that because it's going to tie, and then a pill for that. And
Like
it
the ripple effect.
yeah, yeah. So it added up to 30 pills, and I lived at home during this time with my parents, and my younger sister was at home too. My parents were good about, okay, Brandy, we're going my mom was very organized with it because I couldn't think about that. She's like, we're getting you a pill box. We're going to organize this day and night. So she helped from that standpoint, which helped a lot of just not
Yeah.
looking at 30 pills at one time a day and just really pushing me to keep taking meds. Because there were days where I was like, I really don't want to take this. I really just, can I just have a day where it's just a break and I'm not the sick girl?
Are you still taking 30 pills a day?
No, thankfully now I'm in remission. I think that's one thing that I love about taking a back seat to working too, is because I can see the benefits in my health from taking that risk for myself and doing it for me. Yeah.
6 years later, another diagnosis
Yeah.
occurred.
Yeah. It was just a 6 month checkup. And
Mm.
I went in, no symptoms, feeling fine, expecting another great report. So for now, for 6 years, I'm going in every 6 months and they're doing the test and they're like, you're good, Brandy. Keep going. We'll see you in another 6 months. It's funny because my doctor at the time, I graduated with her daughter. So, like, I'd known her growing up. And they got the test back, and she walks into my room and she's sobbing. She can't even hold it together as my doctor. And I knew it.
Oh.
I knew it to come back. And it's weird. I still don't understand why or how I did it, but I felt I was consoling her. I was like, I'm fine. I'm going to be fine. I didn't cry at that moment. And it wasn't until I got in my car in the hospital parking lot and I
It
sobbed.
hit you.
And it was the only appointment that my mom or my dad did not come with to me. We gotten
Mm.
okay. We're like, she's fine. This first 6-month checkup is going to be without us. And that is the one where I got the bad news. Yeah. So that was hard.
This is a second blood disorder. Does it really ever disappear? I guess I don't really understand that.
They say you just go into remission, which means that my
Okay.
body is my red blood cells and my white blood cells are doing what they're supposed to. My marrow, everything is active. Where whenever we look at my complete blood count, my CBC, all of those numbers are within a normal range. So that's why they call it remission. They say it could always come back. Yeah.
But it didn't come back. Something else showed up.
So the second time, my doctor did the complete blood count and all of my numbers were bottomed out again, just like the first time. And so she said, because I'm her only blood disorder patient, I was being seen at an oncologist because my blood disorder was so rare at the time. And she was doing her own research just to learn more about it. And so she was like, I've been doing research and I've heard that people that have been diagnosed with aplastic anemia may also be diagnosed with PNH. And she was like, her words were, I don't expect this test to come back positive, but I want to go ahead and test you since we know you're out of remission with one. And I said, okay, that's fine. So drew more blood. I'm like, how do I have so much blood in my body as much as I and so she called me with the news like the next day and said, yeah, you've been diagnosed with two blood disorders this time. So not only do I have aplastic anemia, which I knew how to fight now, but now I've been diagnosed with PNH, which stands for paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria. Aplastic anemia, I'm not forming enough red blood cells, but with
Okay.
PNH, my red blood cells are attacking each other and bursting in my system.
Well, it doesn't sound good.
No, I'm like, how can you have both?
Yeah. Is there a reason behind it? Do they give you any of that, or is it they don't know?
They don't know. They call it idiopathic. They have no reason why I've been diagnosed with two. Now, my mom says that her mom had a bleeding disorder,
Okay.
but they didn't know much about it. So we're thinking it could have been through generationally through our family line, but
Like some gene or maybe hereditary or something like that?
yeah, but
Yeah.
we don't really know why.
So did you have to go through yet another series of treatments, and was it the same or is it different?
So that was the big question. So I ended up going through the same treatment again. It's
Okay.
funny because the type of chemotherapy is called an ATG drug. And it's so weird when I explain this. There's a rabbit serum and there's a horse serum. It comes from a rabbit, one serum comes from a horse. I got the horse serum. And so by this time, my doctors, I need you to get a specialist that knows more about this, that specializes in this. And I was like, okay. So I interviewed all these doctors and I landed on this doctor in New York at NYU. And so when I talked to him about this, that was my big question of, okay, I have two blood disorders. Where do we go? Like, how do I
Mm,
treat two? And so one of the options was getting a bone marrow transplant, which means going to registry, trying to find a donor that matches me. And then the second plan was to either that or to get treatment again, the same treatment. Or since the horse serum only lasted 6 years, he's like, let's try the rabbit serum if we do it again. So I ended up getting treatment again, but I ended up doing the rabbit serum. It is the craziest thing to even say that, but
it
yeah.
is crazy. So these animals have something in them that helps heal a blood disorder.
Yeah. Is that not wild? And I don't even know all the science
Like, who
behind
even discovered that?
exactly.
Where did that idea even come from? Oh, you
Thank
know
you for
what? I
science.
think if we get some horse serum, that's going to take care of this. Is this serum clear?
It's just a clear bag of blood. So I'm guessing the serum is mixed in with the liquid
Okay.
because it's literally this tall bag of ATG that I'm given, and it's clear. Yeah,
Interesting.
it is very expensive to
Does
get.
insurance cover it?
Thankfully, yes. It was
Good.
another fight. It's fighting insurance and making sure things are covered, and thankfully my parents took that on. I was 19 at, then
Yeah.
26 the next time. I didn't know anything about insurance and benefits and how to fight that. That
Right.
in itself is a whole thing when you're diagnosed with something, is the insurance part too.
Yes. I read that you did a lot of research yourself to try and figure out what was really happening with you. And there was some educating that took place with your doctor, some things that you learned along the way. So it's not uncommon to advocate for yourself in
Mhm.
the health industry. And then you have insurance on top of it, and it's a double whammy.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very big on advocating for yourself, and no
Yes.
matter what it is that you're in that doctor's office for, I always tell people that ask any of my advice of how do you do that? Like, how do you talk to your doctors? It's building that relationship. It's really key,
Mhm.
especially when you go through something like cancer or blood disorder. You
Yeah.
want that doctor and you to have some type of bond and some type of relationship where you can ask the hard questions and you can challenge them or make sure you get to the root of the problem. I'm very much so for advocating for yourself. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And depending on how long the treatment is or how long you're with your doctor for follow-ups, when they're monitoring you over the next couple years, you're with them for a long time. Like I was with
Yes.
my team for many years, and
Mm,
when it was all done, there was a huge letdown, and in the moment, I couldn't figure out what that letdown was, and it was a little bit of I've been in their office initially daily, then weekly, then monthly, then every couple of months, then 6-month mark. But there was so many different doctors on my treatment plan that I had all these new friends. You get really close to them and you get to know each other's lives that you miss that after.
yeah, I have this picture of me and these nurses from the first time of me being diagnosed, and, like, I can see that picture right now in my mind of because you're so vulnerable with those people
Yeah.
every day. I mean, down to sometimes, like, they come in, they're like, "Okay, how many times have you used the restroom today?" That's how vulnerable you get with this. It
You're
gets
real
very
friends at that point.
You're girlfriends, yeah. Yeah, it gets very open and honest in that
Yeah.
when you're in the hospital, but those people really saw you go through something, saw
Mhm.
you get through it, and were a part of that team of helping you. Like, how could you not feel some type of grief from that? Yeah.
Are you at that stage where you're just being monitored on a 6-month or annual basis?
Yeah, so I had an appointment last October, and it's my first appointment where he said, "See you in a year." I have not heard that ever. And I remember, like, calling and texting all my family, and I'm like, "A year? I don't have to see him for a year, like, what?" In the health world is that's the best news you could ever get.
Yes.
For a while, it was every 6 months, like, for years, and,
Yeah.
like, "You're on the right track, Brandi. I don't think I need to see you for a year," and I remember just being like, "What? Are you sure?" And he's
Did you ever feel like once you were released and moved into the 1-year monitoring, maybe it creeped in? Is everything okay? All of a sudden, you're realizing nobody's really monitoring me.
Yeah.
And you're not doing these actionable things. Did that happen to you?
Oh, yeah, yeah, and that thought is still always in the back of my mind of, "Am I really okay? Am I really okay?" Like you said, should I be monitoring something? Should I be for a while, it was me looking for bruises because having a blood
Yeah.
disorder, you bump your arm on something, you bruise quick, and every appointment I was going into, he was like, "Okay, any new bruises? Anything new changed on your body?" And so I'm like, "Should I still be looking for that?"
Right.
Get used to that type of atmosphere. Yeah, that thought, I've heard other people say that too. I don't know if that thought ever fully ever goes away of
I
thinking,
don't think it does
"Okay."
because I got diagnosed over and over again. You build some toughness around that, but at the same time, you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop at every appointment. And even when they're like, oh my God, great checkup, everything's okay. And you're like, yeah, this time I'll be
Yeah,
back. And you walk in and you're sweating and you're worried, and they do the test to see if everything's okay. And you're just hoping, I hope this isn't
yeah.
going to be another one of those days. So,
And for me, after getting that 6-month checkup where it did come back and I was not expecting it. For a
Yeah.
minute, every 6-month check afterwards, after going to remission again, for a minute, it was like trauma. I was like, "Is it like I feel fine, but how does my body really feel? Like, am I gonna be okay at this appointment?" It took
Right.
a minute for that also. I always say you fight anything physically, mentally, and emotionally, and it really is all 3. When it's out of whack, it's hard. It's hard to navigate.
It is hard. Like, I don't get headaches that often, but when I get one, oh my God, do you have a brain tumor?
Yeah,
I must have a brain tumor. I
yeah,
probably should call the doctor. You're not a nymphomaniac, but you're just on a different kind of alert
yeah.
and observation of your own self because you've gotten shocking news about not one, but two blood disorders. And thank God that you're fine, you're resilient, you've bounced back.
I just
Yeah.
I try and always look forward, and I don't ever want my health to be a crutch or holding me back even mentally. So having that, like you said, it's a battle in my mind sometimes if like you said, when same for me, sometimes I get headaches or when I'm fatigued one day where it's just horrible fatigue, I'm like, "Am I really okay?" And I'm like, "No, I'm fine." And if I don't say it to myself, my mom, I'll call her and she's like, "You're fine. You're fine." I'm like, "Okay,
Right.
you're right, I'm fine."
Yeah.
Always have that ear that's helping me too.
Yeah. We both feel that way, and we had different
Yeah,
diagnosis and different shocking news, but the impact is the same. When
yeah,
you go through something life-threatening, you can't help yourself.
mm,
And the reality is we're all fine and everything's okay,
yeah,
and we made it through.
we did.
We made it through.
We made it, which is
Yeah.
awesome. I love that just because. Honestly, being at Children's Hospital, the amount of kids that I met, those kids I will always remember. I could tear up just talking about it and just hearing their stories and how I'm like, if they can do it, like little boy that's 5 years old, that's going in for spine
Right.
tap surgery. If they can do it, I can get through this too. So that really helped me also, I'll say a lot of
That's
just
so cute.
yeah,
They're so innocent.
I met some amazing kids, great stories. I founded a nonprofit called Brandy's Blessings. It's funny, I did it while I was sick because I was like, nobody knows about these blood disorders. Like, someone needs to know what's going on and what we go
Yeah.
through. And through my nonprofit, we had money coming in, which was great. And we did a lot of bone marrow drives. So I teamed up with Be the Match, and we would travel around the state, and I would go and speak to college kids mainly because they're very healthy, and we would just talk about what I was going through and how I needed a bone marrow transplant and how there wasn't anybody on the registry at one point for me and how you can help save a life. And it's so crazy. We had at one drive, actually my sister's drive, she signed up 250 people alone at her drive.
Oh my
And
gosh.
we've been doing that for a while. And what's awesome is it's so funny how God uses you. And even when you're going through something to help other people, out of
Yeah.
all those drives of everybody we signed up, 3 people that I know of got the call to be a match for somebody else and to save their life.
Oh, look at
And they all said
that.
yes because of my story.
That's powerful.
Is that not awesome?
It
Like, I think that's
is.
out of everything, that's like my greatest accomplishment is really being able to help save another person's life and just taking that one step to do that. Yeah.
Are you actively still doing that?
No, I was doing it for a while pre-COVID, but right when COVID happened, I shut it down, yeah. But
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I loved it a lot, and again, something I never thought I would do, but I was like, "I have to do something." Like, people need to hear about what's going on with these blood disorders, and yeah, I was able to just speak to a lot of people, and that was our main thing was signing people up on the registry and or order to save a life. And then one of the people that actually signed up was my brother-in-law, and he got the call and he went through the entire thing of
No kidding.
yeah, the lady had some type of breast cancer. No, it wasn't breast cancer, some type of cancer. And
Yeah.
so we got
That's
to see
so
the experience.
cool. Had you not done that, maybe there wouldn't have been those exact matches, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You were on a TED Talk and told your story there. Do you speak publicly for corporations, or do you find with your own podcast, which we haven't really talked a lot about, that you're sharing your story or helping others share their stories that have been through the same thing?
Yeah. So I am speaking now a lot more than I was, and mainly through my podcast, but I love any type of speaking event just to be able to help anybody out there. So it's really what
Yeah.
I'm wanting to move more into now. And I think my podcast is helping that as well. So my podcast, The Life We're Given, is a podcast where we talk about resilient stories. It's really where people come on that have any type of resilient story of just
Mm.
whatever they're going through in their life and how they got through that. Because I just really feel like there is some type of healing in people of hearing somebody else's story. You just feel less alone in hearing,
Mm.
I'm not the only one that may be struggling with this or something similar to it. And hearing somebody else's story just really helps you to know either I'm not alone or, okay, life is not as hard as I'm making it right now.
Yeah.
It could be worse. And hearing other people's story helps you have gratitude for where you are in your life. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's well put. I like that. You said something, it's a quote that you referenced. Do one thing every day that scares you. How
Yes.
do you put that into practice now?
Oh my gosh, that is my favorite quote to live by, just because I feel like when you do that, you are pushed more out of your comfort zone,
Mhm.
and that's where you expand your comfort zone even more. I would say, yeah, I still hold true to that. The scariest thing lately was really just leaving my HR career. But every
Yeah.
day I do something different, starting a podcast like that. I don't know how to interview people. I don't know what I'm doing. And really just figuring that out, or really talking to somebody that you wouldn't really talk to. It doesn't have to be very big. Getting up earlier in the mornings and praying, doing something that's out of my comfort zone that
Mhm.
expands that. That's really what I hold true to. But yeah, it's something I still live by. Yeah.
That's great. When you do something scary, it also is part of your growth, whether it's skill building for a career or just personal growth, building more confidence
Yeah.
or capabilities, things that you're trying to do. It's huge when you do take that scary step. A lot of people will run the other direction when something scary happens. And
Yeah.
it is scary, it's really hard. But then after you've done that scary thing, I know I've done this. Tell me if you have, but you're like, that wasn't actually as bad as I thought.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm always like, "Why did I make that such a bigger deal than it was?" In my mind.
Exactly.
Yeah. All the time. Yeah.
Exactly. I was all wrapped up around that for a whole week, and now it's over and I feel better about myself.
Yes.
It's so
Yes, yes.
funny.
Yeah. I love also just being like, "I actually did that." Like, I tried that and actually did it. Even with the fear and not letting with your mind trying to get in your own way, I actually accomplished that. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
It's really cool. Yeah, and you push yourself, you grow, you become a lot more confident in yourself, but also just grounded because you're willing to put yourself out there and try new things.
Yeah. I think in life we always ebb and flow, and I think doing that also, doing one thing that scares you every day helps you to see that you can be different. You don't have to just go down one road. Like there's
Mhm.
different characteristics, there's different pieces of all of us. And I think it
Yeah.
unlocks another box sometime of, I didn't know I liked doing that. Like my podcast, I've had people listen to it. They're like, you're such a great interviewer. And I'm like, I had no clue. I don't know what I'm doing. But that I'm like, oh, okay, maybe that's something I should look at. But it really just unlocks something new within you that you didn't even know was there, a capability. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you do it so well, and you have such a calm demeanor about you. We talked a little bit about this when I was on your show, and it's just something that comes really natural to you. And I
Yeah, I'm
think
really
that's
grateful that
why
That's so sweet.
you're doing well.
Yeah,
Yeah. There
yeah.
was something that your mom said in an interview. She talked about how even in the middle of really hard moments, you would find something to laugh about as a
Mm,
family, and
yes,
that laughter played a big role in your life, which you know I'm a huge proponent of. But
yes.
she had said during the toughest parts of your journey how important it was for all of you to laugh. There was a time that you were in the hospital room and things weren't so great. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if somebody cracked a joke or what the actual thing was that made everyone laugh. I loved that so much because it's so important for our bodies to let go of those hard times.
Yeah, laughter really helped me and my family. We love comedy. We'll sit around a TV and just watch something on stand-up comedy or something. So that's something we've always loved to do. But
Yeah.
I think to implement that during bad times, it really helps. Laughing, it really helps. Yeah, I remember one time just being in the hospital and this nurse came in and I was like, I am just really nauseous today. And she was like, you want a pill? And I was like, I can't take another pill. And so
31, that'd be 31.
I know, I was like, "No more." I was like and so she walked out. I was like, "Mom, I can't." I was like, "I can't take another pill." Mom was like, "Let run in the bathroom." She was like, we're gonna throw it up. We're gonna get it out." And I remember we talk about that all the time where we were like, just having my parents there for
Yeah,
laughter or just to be able to lean on, it really helped create even memories during bad times. Those weren't unforeseen times, not just for me, but for my parents having a child go through that and to still create some memories in some ways. I think that laughter helps with that also because you remember
absolutely.
that. Mhm.
Yep, absolutely. If you could speak to the sophomore version of yourself today, what would you tell her that you know now that you didn't know back then?
Wow. I would tell her, first off, not to stress about the future
Mm,
because it works out. It works out the way it's supposed to, no matter how hard it gets down that road. It truly worked out for you, and you really fought for your life. Not only for you, but for your family and for your friends and the ones that ooh, the amount of prayer lists that I was on and the amount of support we had around us at that time. I knew that I wasn't only fighting for me, I was fighting for all those people also. And so
yeah,
I would tell her that it works out and don't stress about the future because that was my main stress. Don't stress about how the road looks down the road, how it looks. It all works out and it'll continue to work out in your life.